We can start now.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Charu Sharma and I'm doing my specialty in gynecology and obs in Ayurveda from India. And today we are going to talk about a topic here that is relevant to the time, that is relevant to the prevalent festival in India also, and that is also being celebrated in your country as well, as Dr. Luisa has been telling me. Navratri. So I just want you to understand the meaning first of all. What do we mean by the term here? Nav means the number 9 and Ratri means nights.
Okay.
So now the question comes here that why is it?
May I translate you? Está diciendo que buenas noches, mi nombre es Charu Sharma, soy médica ayurvédica y ginecobstetra en la India. Y el tópico de hoy es un tópico de un festival muy importante en la India que se llama Navaratri. Nav es 9 y Ratri quiere decir noche.
Okay. So, the idol of this festival is Ma Durga. And Ma Durga is just not an idol here. It is just not a goddess here, but it is a concept that we try to implement in our lifestyle, in our thinking process, and we learn so much from her.
Entonces, no se trata de una fiesta de una diosa solamente, que es Ma Durga, sino que intentamos celebrarlo como en nuestra vida cotidiana, que haga parte de nosotros y de nuestra vida.
India, as you know, it is a land of stories. It is a land of rituals. It is a land of culture.
La India es como un lugar de cultura, de rituales, como de esta riqueza religiosa y espiritual.
And we Indians, we are, we are very well known for celebrating our festivals as if they are a very, we celebrate them as if they are giving us a very new form of life and they are giving us a new insight towards life.
Y nos reconocen a los indios como que celebramos los festivales y cada uno de esos festivales nos da como una nueva forma y una nueva visión de la vida y una forma de vivir distinta.
Okay. So here in Navratri, Ma Durga is telling us she has a story of herself which she wants to which she wants to tell us that she's an epitome of power. We call it Shakti.
Entonces, Ma Durga es como la representación de Shakti, como de la energía.
So on this part of story, as I belong to the field of women healthcare and Dr. Luisa is from the same field, so we wanted to take up this topic so that we could propagate the ideas of our culture, of our science to the world.
Entonces, la doctora Charu pertenece al campo de la medicina de la mujer y ella dice que yo también. Entonces, como que queremos propagar como esta cultura y como permear la energía de la mujer.
So in this, I would not call it this a lecture or a workshop kind of thing, but I would rather call it a process of storytelling in which I would like to try to imbibe a few principles of health in you. So it is just an effort to propagate those ideas.
Entonces aquí lo que yo quiero es como que sea como un contar una historia para darles como estas ideas de la cultura que están presentes en este festival.
So now I'm going to start with the with the basic line here. So we will be discussing the perspectives of women healthcare and how are they elaborated in the science of Ayurveda. And in the background, we will take Ma Durga as an epitome, like an example that we can follow for our well-being.
Entonces aquí vamos a hablar sobre las perspectivas de Ayurveda en el cuidado de la salud de la mujer y vamos a tomar como a Ma Durga, que es como esta diosa y esta representación y este arquetipo de cómo vivir nuestra feminidad y cómo cuidar nuestra salud femenina.
So I welcome you all for this journey here.
Les doy la bienvenida a ustedes en esta jornada.
And if we are going today, we are going to learn from Ma Durga. So we first of all we need to know that who is Ma Durga, and what is her role in the picture, and how does we know her.
Entonces, como vamos a hablar de Ma Durga, tenemos que saber quién es ella, cuál es su rol, qué es lo que hace, como qué representa.
So there are basically two sides of Ma Durga. As in this picture, you see her as a woman who is equipped with all the tools, with all the as you see, she has her she has a trishul, she has her other we say some arrows, so that she could fight the demons, so she could fight the evil. So she's a woman with all the responsibilities, as you see here.
Entonces hay dos aspectos muy importantes de Ma Durga y aquí ustedes la están viendo con todas sus herramientas, con su tridente, con sus armas que le permiten como destruir al mal y como que le permiten tener el coraje para enfrentar lo que tiene que enfrentar.
Yeah. And as you see, I just want you to look at this picture and appreciate, she is a blend of beauty at the same time. She's a blend of power, and she's a blend of she knows that she is here to do something. So she's filled with confidence and that courage within herself.
Entonces, si ustedes la ven, yo quiero que vean esa imagen. Y entonces ella es como esa mezcla de belleza, pero también de coraje y de la posibilidad de enfrentar cualquier cosa que venga y tener la valentía y como el coraje.
Then I want you to look her into her eyes. You will see the fire within her, and that is being projected to the world outside.
Entonces quiero que vean sus ojos y están como llenos de fuego y están listos para ser proyectados hacia afuera.
And did you realize the moment you look into her eyes, there are some vibrations that enter into you also?
Entonces cuando tú ves los ojos de una mujer, también puedes sentir su vibración adentro tuyo.
And these are the vibrations of courage. These are the vibrations that call you for a better being.
Entonces esas son las vibraciones del coraje y esas son las vibraciones que te llaman para ser un mejor ser humano.
And all these she's carrying, the instruments she's carrying with herself, they have some kind of value. So I'll be talking about the values first of all, so you could understand the perspective. But before that, I want you to look into another picture of hers. That was the solo picture of her, but it is the family picture of hers. If you could appear, I'll tell you the characters here.
Entonces, primero, pues esta es como la que acabamos de ver, es como la forma de Durga del valor, ¿sí? Esa cualidad del coraje. Pero antes de mostrarles más aspectos de ella, quiero mostrarles esta imagen en donde está Ma Durga con su familia.
So here you see, this is Ma Durga here. She has got her two sisters here. One, she is, Durga denotes power. At the same time, her one sister denotes knowledge.
Entonces, Durga tiene dos hermanas. Entonces, Durga como que muestra brillo, es radiante, pero su hermana representa el conocimiento.
There's another sister of her. She denotes wealth and prosperity.
Y hay otra hermana de ella que denota abundancia y prosperidad.
And here you see it's son of Ma Durga, it is called Ganesh.
El hijo de Madurga se llama Ganesh.
And he has another son of Ma Durga, he is Lord Kartika.
Y otro hijo de Madurga es el señor Kartika.
And here you see a lion here, right? So we call this lion as the vehicle of Ma Durga.
Y ven un león aquí, este león es el vehículo de Madurga.
So can you appreciate the difference between these two pictures? The first picture is a solo picture of hers, where she is equipped with all the, with all the, we say, the tools that has been given to her to fight the evil and everything.
Pueden identificar como estas dos pinturas, la diferencia como que tiene todas las herramientas para luchar contra los demonios. Si se dan cuenta que aquí están como todas las herramientas que le permiten a ella enfrentarse.
That was a more static picture of her, but this is a more dynamic picture of her. And I would like to just quote a very like, here you see a man, he is like Ma Durga is sitting on him. So this man denotes evil. So she is standing on that. That evil thing that I am going to the righteous thing always rules over the evil one. So
entonces en la primera como el primer dibujo que vimos, la primera imagen, como que muestra todas las herramientas y todo el valor, pero en esta es más dinámica. Y si se dan cuenta, ella está parada encima de un hombre y ese hombre sobre el que ella está parada es un demonio. Entonces ella está diciendo, aquí voy a dominar yo.
Yeah. So the first picture, it basically denotes a woman when she is unmarried, when she has her professional duties with herself. But the second picture denotes when she has a family to deal with.
La primera muestra una mujer como soltera. La mujer soltera que dice, estoy dispuesta a vivir mi profesión y hacer lo que mis responsabilidades, pero en esta segunda imagen es como también soy responsable por mi familia.
Yeah, but you can still see, even if she is dealing with all the family issues, and she's raising a child, but at the same time she still has her tools with her, because she knows that she has to perform the duties that she has been assigned to.
Y aunque ella ahora está con una familia y con unas responsabilidades familiares, continúa teniendo sus herramientas y continúa teniendo su coraje para enfrentar lo que se le presenta en la vida.
So can you relate that picture to yourself? Even if you're married or unmarried, you have some responsibilities towards your career, you have some responsibilities towards your family also, and other things also.
¿Podrías correlacionar esto contigo misma? Como tienes responsabilidades, tienes familia, tienes cosas que atender, ¿podrías identificarte con Durga, que también tienes el coraje y el valor para enfrentarlos?
So according to our philosophy, every woman has a Durga inside her, and whenever we are looking for, whenever we feel down, whenever we think that we maybe will not be able to achieve that, then there's a Durga inside which always says, if I give you the courage to do those things. I am here, you are my daughter, I'm your mother, so I will always empower you for everything.
Entonces, cada mujer tiene una Durga adentro suyo. Cuando nos sentimos bajos o malos, como que no vamos a poder, Durga viene como la madre y te dice, tú eres mi hija y yo te voy a ayudar y vas a tener el coraje y vamos a enfrentar lo que viene y vas a tener la valentía para atravesar esta situación. Estoy contigo.
So this is the journey where we are going to identify, the Durga within ourselves, and we can adopt the practice so that we can see a better version of ourselves.
Entonces esto es como una jornada, un camino para identificar a Durga en nosotros mismos y podamos tener una mejor versión y una mejor imagen de nosotras mismas.
Okay. So let me, introduce you to the tools that she has been carrying so that we can get the virtues and we can adopt the values. So as you see in the picture, there's a trishul here, this thing here. This is the three arrows here. We call it trishul.
Les voy a hablar acerca de las herramientas que tiene Durga para enfrentar las cosas. Entonces, si ustedes ven Trishul, es ese tridente que tiene, se llama Trishul.
Yeah. So the three arrows denotes three kind of mentalities. The first one is the mentality that is that has got lethargic tendencies. There's the second one which denotes hyperactivity, and the third one is which denotes purity.
Entonces, hay este tridente tiene tres aspectos muy importantes. La primera, que es la energía tamas, que es las tendencias letárgicas. La siguiente es rayas, que es como la tendencia hiperactiva. Y la tercera es sattva, que es como la pureza, el balance.
Okay, I can give you an example here. Like, for example, if the moment you just saw the flyer of this Navratri 2020 and this women healthcare perspective, so there was a kind of there was a kind of excitement. If you got something new to look upon. But when you were asked to attend that meeting, so you were a bit lethargy. Maybe okay, I'm busy with another thing, so I have to go to another meeting. So that is the tamas in you. The first one was the rajas in you, and sattvic is like when you okay, I have to attend this for myself. So you just sit here and you're like, okay, I'm going to take up this lesson. So that is sattvic of you.
Entonces nos va a dar un ejemplo, por ejemplo, cuando estaba como para preparar esta charla, entonces, bueno, voy a hacer el flyer y voy a hacer todo lo que se necesita y voy a atender esta charla. Esa es la energía rayásica, la energía del movimiento, dinámica. Pero entonces de repente, ay no, pero de pronto no voy a poder porque tengo una charla a esa hora y entonces no voy a poder ir. Entonces, ¿qué hago? Esa es la energía tamásica. Y luego, cuando dices, no, esto viene bien para mí mismo y es un regalo para mí, voy a atenderlo al 100%, esa es la energía sádvica.
So we all are, we all are made up of tamas, rajas, and sattvic. These three qualities are present in all of us.
Todos tenemos estas cualidades tamásicas, rayásicas y sádvicas. Todos tenemos esas tendencias en nosotros.
But what makes us a better individual is the right choice to choose our mind setup. It is not like, the external influences are going to determine your mind status. You are going to determine your status. That is the lesson that we get from this trident or trishul.
Entonces, no es como que la vida misma nos va a llevar a esto, sino que somos nosotros los que vamos a determinar cómo es que vamos a utilizar nuestra mente y cómo va a estar nuestro estado mental. Entonces, eso es como una de las enseñanzas que nos da Madurga, que tenemos esas herramientas en nosotros para elegir cómo vivir.
So another equipment that she has is Sudarshan Chakra. This chakra is known as Sudarshan Chakra, this wheel kind of structure.
Entonces, otra herramienta que tiene Madurga es el Sudarshan Chakra, que es esa rueda que tiene en el dedo.
And what is the most beautiful thing about it? It is a center. She's a center of the globe, and everything is revolving around her. And that is, you are also the center of your life, and everything is revolving around you. So she wants you to appreciate the importance of you. So that is the point here.
Entonces, algo muy lindo de ese Sudarshan Chakra es que el mundo entero está girando alrededor de ella y ella es el centro de ese mundo, de ese universo. Y asimismo, aquí estás tú en el punto y tu existencia está ocurriendo, pero tú tienes como el centro de tu universo.
So another one is the Vajra. It is a thunderbolt she is carrying with herself.
What is thunderbolt?
thunderbolt is the lightning that yeah. So she has that thunderbolt as a tool here. You can see like it is not very visible here, but it is somewhere here. So
Like fire?
it is basically the lightning that comes from the sky when it's raining and yeah.
Ah, ok, ok, ok. Un rayo. Entonces, en otra de las herramientas que tiene es como un rayo para luchar contra como los feroces y como los que atacan el reino como de los cielos y de las nubes. Entonces, como que
So it stands for a determination. It stands for the energy that you get from the environment and you are ready to radiate it to the entire world.
Entonces, esto tiene que ver con la determinación, como con la perseverancia que uno tiene para enfrentar todas las situaciones del mundo.
Like everyone has some kind of goals, right? So it is the thunderbolt. It is the power of it is the lightning power of a person that is going to determine like how will and how much dedication do I need to achieve this goal. So this thunderbolt gives you the energy to to see your goals clearly and just go in one direction and you can achieve it.
Entonces todos tenemos objetivos y tenemos propósitos hacia donde nos dirigimos. Entonces este rayo es lo que nos permite tener la determinación y que esté dirigido a ese objetivo y a que se realice la perseverancia y la determinación para que suceda.
Okay, so another equipment that comes here, it is shank. Do you know, Luisa, what a shank is?
Yeah, like the conch.
Yeah, right. So,
Entonces
yeah.
dice que el siguiente elemento es chanca y me pregunta que si sé qué es y les digo que es como una concha.
And we say that shank emits a sound that is om.
Y decimos que chanca, que esa concha, emite un sonido y ese sonido es om.
Yeah, and om is the center of the energies about it is the center of energies which are prevalent in the universe.
Y es el centro de las energías que están om es el centro de las energías que están prevalentes en el universo.
And here is a ritual that we use shank whenever there is something auspicious that we are going to start with.
Y aquí hay como, bueno, en la India hay como una tradición que hay siempre una concha cuando hay algo que va a empezar.
And om is the manifest, is the sound, yeah.
Y om es un sonido.
It is a sound of creation. So it has been said a woman she is the biggest creator in the universe because she creates a child. She is the creator of so many things. So she can be said as one of the biggest creators in the lifetime. So it denotes that that urge of creation, and even if you create something, you have to manage it also. So it gives you the strength of that creation as well as the management.
Entonces, en el Om está también la energía creativa, la creación. Y Durga tiene como esa energía creativa que es capaz de crear, ¿sí? Entonces, esta energía que permite empezar también es una energía que te permite mantenerla. Ajá.
So at this point of time, I just want you to reflect back into your life and just point out a few things that you have created for yourself. It could be a part of, like, it could be a small part of your home or a company, or it could be like if as Luisa is practicing her clinical practice and her knowledge for Ayurveda and all other things. It could be anything for you, but I just want you to reflect, like take 2 minutes and just reflect back to your life, and you can also discuss it if you want to.
Entonces me gustaría que en este momento se tomen unos minutos para reflexionar aquellas cosas que han creado en su vida, ¿sí? Aquellas cosas que has podido crear en tu vida. Entonces ella da un ejemplo que, por ejemplo, para mí, como el conocimiento de Ayurveda, o, ¿sí? Como aquellas cosas que permitas reflexionar, y ella quiere también que podamos compartir estas reflexiones de lo que has creado en tu vida.
Because unless and until you don't feel with Ma Durga within yourself, you'll not be able to learn that what she's going to teach us or what she wants us to know.
porque si no eres capaz de sentir a Madurga adentro tuyo, no vas a poder recibir lo que ella quiere transmitirte. Wow, so beautiful.
Thank you. So now we are going to, take a leap. Now you know Ma Durga, right? So, we have, if we, she's a, the concept here, you know her as well now. So I can, I have got the canvas ready now. So I can, it is not my knowledge. It is not, knowledge given by, some person. It is basically a knowledge that is being practiced in thousands of years. So you need, if you want to adopt that, first we need to prepare ourselves for that.
Entonces, bueno, ya que tenemos una idea y una pintura como una imagen de lo que es Madurga, entonces ahora quiero que podamos ponerlo en práctica y podamos ver cómo esto puede ser útil para nosotros. Y esto no es un conocimiento que ella nos está compartiendo, dice, sino que esto es un conocimiento que se ha transmitido por miles y miles de años que está viniendo hacia nosotros ahora.
So as it is Navratri, I have compiled the well-being practices into 9 sections here, and we will be discussing on each section. And the basic point here is, I want you to take, I just want you to think about it and then practice it. Because, if someone tells you when you practice it, that's not the point. You need to think about it, you need to analyze it, and then adopt it.
Entonces, así como estamos en Navaratri, que son las 9 noches, quiero que como que entendamos la naturaleza del ciclo menstrual y del cuerpo en 9 puntos específicos. Y no es como que alguien nos diga qué es lo que tenemos que hacer, sino que realmente lo sintamos y podamos practicarlo y adaptarlo a nuestra vida.
Because Ayurveda is a life science which tries to bring a holistic view in you. Let it be mental, let it be physical, or let it be spiritual. So every component of yours has to be aligned so that you can be healthy.
Porque Ayurveda es una ciencia que abarca todos los aspectos del ser, sea mental, físico y emocional, para que tengamos bienestar, para que seamos un ser humano completo.
Okay, so the first wellness practice comes from chakra, a chakra which is, a cycle. We call it a cycle that is being, repeated many a times. And this universe is all about cycle. We are revolving around sun, the moon is revolving around us. So, and everything comes in cycle here. So you need to appreciate the rhythm of the nature.
Entonces, la primera práctica se llama chakra. Y chakra quiere decir ciclo. Y todo en este universo está respondiendo a un ciclo, como transcurre el sol a través de la tierra, como son los ciclos de la luna. Cada una de las cosas en el universo tiene un ciclo y vamos a conectarnos con eso.
So there are 2 concepts here. One is a nature cycle, and another one is an individual cycle. So there has to be a harmony between the 2 entities.
Entonces hay 2 ciclos, uno de la naturaleza y otro ciclo individual. Y entonces lo que buscamos es armonizar estos ciclos entre la naturaleza y el individuo.
And cycles are really important because obviously, the process of reproduction of itself comes from one of the cycles.
Y los ciclos son muy importantes porque la reproducción, nosotros mismos provenimos de ciclos.
And for a woman, the most important cycle that we, that we see as a doctor, also as a consultant, also, it is a menstrual cycle, which is a very important integral part of one's, individuality, or we could say the health perspective.
Y desde la perspectiva como de la salud de la mujer, el ciclo menstrual es un ciclo muy importante, tanto para la mujer como para los médicos, porque hace parte como de la vida misma reproductiva.
So first of all, I'm going to talk about the regimen, or the cyclic regimens that one should follow during the menstruation, after menstruation, and when she is ready to conceive.
Entonces les voy a compartir como cuáles son los ciclos y los regímenes que se deben seguir durante estos ciclos de la mujer?
First of all, the modifications that one should adopt during the time of menstruation, they include you should have a very light diet, because it is being said that when you are menstruating, the metabolism is a bit of on the rearrangement side. So we have to, that we have to care about it. So we need to adopt a light meal.
Entonces, una de las cosas que se debe hacer durante el periodo menstrual es que la comida debería ser ligera, porque durante como el momento de la menstruación, el metabolismo está está vulnerado, está como sensible. Entonces es necesario como darle al cuerpo comida ligera.
Coitus is strictly avoided during this point of time.
El coito se restringe, no se debe tener durante este momento.
And we advise the women that she did not go for any kind of spicy food, any of hot potency food. She does not have to sleep during daytime, and she also has to avoid those sternest activities, very sternest activity during the menstruation period.
No se debe comer comida muy picante, dormir durante el día, o no hacer actividades que sean muy fuertes y como que la cansen.
And I can give you an example here, like many of our patients that come with the complaint of menstrual irregularities, we don't prefer the medicine first, we prefer the dietary and lifestyle changes first. And in many cases, we just get the relief from the dietary and the lifestyle practices. We don't have to prescribe the medicine every time.
Entonces, muchas veces aquí en la práctica ayurvédica no siempre es necesario dar medicinas. Simplemente hacemos modificaciones en la alimentación y en el estilo de vida, y con eso a veces ni siquiera es necesario dar medicinas.
Is there any disturbance that you are facing?
No.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. So another regimen that comes into play is the preconceptual care, when a woman is ready to conceive.
Y otro ciclo muy importante en el cuidado de la mujer es el cuidado preconcepcional. ¿Qué hacer cuando la mujer quisiera concebir?
Okay, as we just conducted the previous lecture on this topic only, so I'll not be elaborating this in a bit of depth. We have already discussed it. So another regimen that comes into play is the antenatal care.
Entonces, como ya hicimos una sesión acerca del cuidado preconcepcional previamente con ella, entonces no va a tomar mucho tiempo explicándolo. Y otro muy importante es Garbhini Panicharya, que es el cuidado antenatal, cuidado durante la gestación.
Yeah, and in Ayurveda, for every month, each and every month, there's a specific diet, there's a specific yoga practice, there's a specific, symptoms and signs that have been discussed for each and every month, and what is the importance of them in the development of the fetus.
Garbhini Panicharya está descrito en cada mes qué restricciones, qué alimentos, qué actividades se deben hacer. Cada mes tiene sus prescripciones específicas en Ayurveda.
And various research studies have also been conducted in the antenatal care regimen of Ayurveda, and it has been found the women who meticulously followed this regimen, they were less prone to the risk factor and the complications of the complications that one could face during the labor period, and also they were less prone with the postpartum complications also.
Entonces hay varios estudios que muestran que las mujeres que siguen juiciosamente en las prácticas de Garbhini Panicharya durante la gestación tienen menos complicaciones en el parto y en el posparto, y tienen como una mejor salud.
So this was like a rule the well-being practice number 1. If you just need to realize that I have a cycle within, there's a cycle outside, and a harmony needs to be maintained. And if you are, if you sleep on the right time, if you eat the right thing, if you do the right practices, then it is not very difficult to be healthy. It is a simple practice. You just need to be conscious about it.
Entonces, la primera herramienta que nos da de bienestar es honrar los ciclos que existen adentro de nosotras, los ciclos que existen en la naturaleza, comer en los momentos indicados, hacer las actividades indicadas en un ritmo específico y entonces no es tan difícil estar saludable cuando podemos conectarnos con los ciclos en nosotras.
But that consciousness is very important and is very subtle in nature.
La conciencia es muy importante y es muy sutil, su naturaleza es muy sutil.
You know, where you're doing all kinds of work, but at the same time you have, you know, you feel the responsibility towards your body. So that is important.
Entonces tenemos muchos trabajos, muchas responsabilidades, muchas cosas que hacer, pero también somos responsables por nuestro cuerpo y debemos honrarlo.
So coming on to the next practice here is, you know, the well-being practice number 2. It is a personalized approach, and this personalized approach is based on age. Just a second.
Entonces la segunda práctica de bienestar es como una aproximación personalizada y ya nos va a explicar.
You know, women, the life cycle of women, as we see, you know, she as a child, when she starts menstruating, then it's a teenage, then she gets married, she gets pregnant, and then she raises the child. As you can, you know, appreciate the different phases of life. So in each phase, it is being said in Ayurveda that for each and every phase, you need different kind of interventions regarding the diet and lifestyle and the Rasayan therapies.
Entonces, así como vemos como las fases de la vida, desde la infancia, desde que es bebé, niña, adolescente, mayor, bueno. Entonces, asimismo, Ayurveda describe que en cada una de esas etapas y esas fases hay unos regímenes y unos cuidados para tener en cuenta.
And why is it so? Because, you know, the balance of dosha are the functional entities in Ayurveda. So the status of dosha changes in each and every phase.
Entonces, en Ayurveda, los estadios, digamos, los doshas están cambiando en cada uno de los estadios de la vida.
And we need to understand that what our body needs at different point of time. At the time of menarche, at the time of menopause, the metabolic needs are very different. And if you treat them on the same platform, so you know, that is not a key towards health.
Entonces necesitamos ver, digamos, la diferencia de una mujer que ha tenido una niña que estaba en la menarquia y una mujer que está en la menopausia, las necesidades metabólicas y los requerimientos y el estado de salud son completamente diferentes y los cuidados también.
For example, in menopause, as we say that we call that it is a bath dominant kind of condition.
Entonces, por ejemplo, la menopausia es un momento de la vida que tiene predominio de vata.
So we have also conducted many studies in which we, you know, during menopause, usually it has been prescribed the hormonal replacement therapy. But in place of that, we give the Ayurvedic regimen, and these are very simple regimens that can be, you know, practiced by that are being advised by the Ayurvedic doctors. So and most important thing is they did not have any kind of side effects, as you know, they did not rescue to other kind of morbidity. So that was important.
Entonces, por ejemplo, en la menopausia lo que hace la medicina moderna son terapias de reemplazo hormonal, pero en Ayurveda hay unos regímenes específicos y unas plantas específicas que ayudan a mejorar la calidad de vida de la mujer y no generan efectos secundarios.
So, as a woman, you could be in any of the phases, but you need to understand what the body needs, and are you able to provide? You know, you are able to deal with the needs of that.
Entonces, como mujeres podemos estar atravesando ciertos momentos de la vida y tenemos que reconocer cuáles son las necesidades que tenemos en ese momento, las necesidades metabólicas, energéticas, físicas, para atenderlas.
So this is a personalized approach that one should adopt and one should be conscious about during the course of life.
Entonces, esta es como la aproximación personalizada que debemos hacer durante cada una de las fases de la vida. No, no podemos tener el mismo estilo de vida igual en cada fase.
So another practice here is the balance of physical, mental, and social elements. And at this point of time, if I ask you, are you healthy physically? Are you healthy mentally? Or are you healthy on social basis? Can you answer me that?
Entonces, otra herramienta importante es el balance físico, mental y social. Entonces, si yo les preguntara en este momento, ¿están saludables socialmente? ¿Están saludables mentalmente y físicamente? ¿Qué responderían en este momento?
And how many times do you ask this question? Maybe in a decade or so, that if someone is asking you, are you healthy or not, then only we are focusing on our health. Otherwise, we are busy with all sort of things, but we do not concentrate on the basic, the tool that we have with ourselves, that is our body.
Entonces, a menos que alguien nos pregunte o algo suceda, no nos preguntamos a nosotros mismos cómo nos estamos sintiendo y estamos ocupados con muchas cosas, pero la herramienta más importante que tenemos para manifestarnos en este universo es nuestro propio cuerpo.
And health is not just a mere absence of disease or illness. It is the harmony that exists within you, and you are always, a healthy person has a characteristic that he or she will be, she will have always have the happiness on the face, also the happiness within also, and there's a harmony maintained within and outside.
Entonces, la salud no solamente es la ausencia de enfermedades, es un estado de balance físico, emocional, mental, una armonía y una felicidad. Se va a manifestar la felicidad como tanto por dentro como por fuera.
And these are the basic practices, I would say, that are being said in Ayurveda, that there is a daily regimen that one should follow that includes waking up in an hour. When it is usually said that we should wake up between 5 to 6 a.m. in morning.
Entonces, hay un régimen ayurvédico muy importante que deberíamos seguir, y uno de ellos es levantarse en la mañana entre las 5 y las 6 de la mañana.
And you know what is the first thing that you should do after waking up? What is being said in Ayurveda? You should go for self-analysis. It is being said.
¿Sabes qué dice la Ayurveda? Que es lo primero que deberías hacer cuando te levantas. Lo que deberías hacer es un autoanálisis. Es lo primero que deberías.
And what do we mean by the self-analysis? You need to ask yourself, am I healthy today? And am I happy to do the things that I should be doing, that are assigned to me today? Because many of the times it happens, we wake up in the morning and we have to do this today, I have to do that today. So there's a kind of load, there's a kind of burden. So that is not, that keeps us, that is driving us away from being healthy.
Entonces, ¿qué es eso que deberíamos hacer en ese autoanálisis? Es preguntarnos cómo me siento hoy, estoy saludable, estoy dispuesto a hacer las cosas que tengo que hacer en este momento, tengo las herramientas necesarias, porque nos levantamos en la mañana y estamos corriendo y pensando, tengo que hacer tal cosa y tengo que hacer esta otra, y entonces como que nos abrumamos y no nos hacemos ese análisis de cómo estamos para enfrentar el día.
And what is the rule for this kind of harmony, that whatever we do, whatever we are, like it could be helping someone, or it could be a daily, daily kitchen activity, or it could be just a very normal thing, a daily like bathing or anything, that you should be always conscious about your activity. You should have your indriya like the sense organs that we have. They should be like in the proper orientation. It should not be like I'm doing something and I'm thinking about something else.
¿Y sabes cuál es la herramienta más importante? Tu conciencia. Es muy importante que estés consciente y presente. Es muy importante conectarte con tus indriyas. Indriya es como los sentidos enfocados en aquella cosa que estás haciendo. No es que estás haciendo una cosa y al mismo tiempo pensando otra o haciendo varias al tiempo. Es como presencia en lo que hacemos.
So this you can try today. For example, if you are like, for example, if you know if you're doing something, let it be you're reading a book or something. So I just if you're reading or you're doing anything, even if you're reading a message, you know you should be well concentrated on that message, not thinking about the pop-ups in your mind and everything. So you will feel the quality of life then.
Entonces, entonces una práctica es, por ejemplo, si estás leyendo un libro o estás leyendo un mensaje de texto, como estar realmente concentrado y consciente de aquello que estás haciendo.
Maybe we do a few things, but that they have to be of quality rather than doing multiple things and ill quality.
Entonces, así sean pocas cosas que hacemos, pero lo más importante es la calidad de lo que hacemos y no la cantidad, no muchas cosas, sino pocas y de calidad.
Summarizing this, we have, you know, for physical health, we have regimens that we should follow that requires discipline. For mental health, we have to be conscious and we are aware of our being. And for social health, if you are physically healthy or mentally healthy, eventually the social determinant will also be healthy.
Entonces, para nuestro cuerpo necesitamos tener regímenes y atender a nuestros ciclos y necesitamos tener disciplina. Para nuestra mente tenemos que tener conciencia en lo que hacemos, como presencia. Y for our social element,
Determinant.
para nuestro elemento social necesitamos tener determinación.
Okay. So, as I just discussed about the consciousness that took up in this previous one also, so I'll not be taking up this. So we have completed 4. Now comes the well-being practice number 5. It is being said that the wellness triad is composed of 3 entities: what you eat, what you do, and how you sleep or when you sleep. If you are able to control these 3 things, you know, first, second, and third, you are the ruler of your life.
Entonces, la tercera herramienta que ella nos iba a dar, que ya la incluyó en el cuarto, era la conciencia. Entonces, ahora podemos seguir a la quinta herramienta de bienestar, que es una triada, que es qué comer, qué hacer y acerca de nuestro sueño. Si tenemos esto bien firme, podemos decir que estamos dominando nuestra vida.
Okay, for this, I just want you to take up a paper and a pen and just write. If I am asking you a few questions, I just want you to write them, okay? And Luisa, you'll be, anyway, I just request you to write in English only so that Luisa can send me and I can just go through, you know, your answers. Is it possible? Or you can write in chat box also, not an issue.
Entonces, ella nos va a pedir que podamos escribir en un papel o si no, aquí podemos escribir en el chat unas cosas y ella nos quisiera pedir que lo escribamos en inglés para que ella lo pueda leer o si no, yo lo traduzco.
Okay, so question number 1, what did you know, what was the last meal that you just had? When did you had? Yeah. Your last meal?
La primera pregunta, ¿cuál fue tu última comida?
Okay, have you written that? What was the timing?
Y cuando ya escribiste eso, entonces, ¿a qué horas fue?
And third, very important question, was it healthy for you or you just had it, you know? Did you just even think that is it right for me to have this food at this point of time? Entonces, yes or no?
La tercera, ¿fue saludable? ¿Y fue adecuado esa comida que comiste para la hora y para lo que tu cuerpo necesitabas? ¿Sí o no? ¿O comiste simplemente por comer?
You see, this is the analysis that we should always be making because, you know, everyone wants to be healthy, but who is ready to take that, you know, who's ready to take that step of, you know, criticizing oneself that what am I eating and what should I be eating?
Entonces, pues muchas personas dicen que quieren estar saludables, pero una de las primeras cosas que tenemos que hacer es ser capaces de autocriticarnos o autoanalizarnos y saber que estamos haciendo las cosas necesarias para estar saludables realmente.
Okay, I want answers from each one of you. You can also you can mail that on WhatsApp me, whatever other responses, and I'm looking forward to just have a view on that. Okay, so now the second section question. What kind of lifestyle, as we say that they're health promoting practices, everyone knows them, everyone is aware. It could be brisk walking, it could be yoga, or it could be anything. Have you adopted any one of them and you do that on regular basis, like daily? Is there any practice?
Entonces, bueno, ella quiere que les escribamos así, sea por WhatsApp o en el chat, esas cosas de la comida y eso. Y la siguiente parte de las preguntas es el estilo de vida, ¿no? Que si has podido tomar algo para tu práctica de vida que te genere bienestar, al menos una cosa que permita que tengas bienestar.
And health is something that, it is not determined by how much you know. Everyone knows everything, but it is determined by what quality of knowledge do you have regarding health practice and how often do you practice it. And knowing is another thing and practicing is another thing.
Entonces, una cosa es como el conocimiento, saber de algo, pero eso no tiene nada de importancia si no eres capaz de practicarlo. Entonces, importante es eso que ese estilo de vida que conoces, qué tanto y qué tan regularmente lo practicas.
Lifestyle, okay, I asked you about that practice. Can you write that practice? What kind of practices that you have adopted for yourself for a better and yes or no? It could be like, I was thinking I should do it, but I have not started yet. It could be like that also, not an issue.
Entonces puedes escribir esos estilos de vida que has practicado y puede ser que hayas pensado que quieres empezarlo y no lo hayas empezado, entonces también escríbelo, no importa.
And if you have not started yet, or it could be like, I started, but somewhere between I lost the track. And so today I'm asking you to start that activity again, okay?
Entonces puede ser que no la has empezado aún, o que quizás la estuviste haciendo, pero la descontinuaste por alguna razón. Entonces te estoy pidiendo en este momento que puedas adaptarla de nuevo a partir de ahora para generarte bienestar.
So the third entity, okay, so it is sleep. How many of you take a proper night's sleep? How many of you do that?
¿Qué tantos de ustedes tienen una buena práctica de sueño? ¿Qué tantos de ustedes tienen eso?
Okay, there's another point that how many of you, when you wake up, you feel like waking up and you are just so, you are happy that I have, like, I'm ready for the things, and how many of you have that pleasantness within you when you wake up?
¿Qué tantos de ustedes cuando se levantan dicen, ay, qué delicia, estoy listo para lo que viene en la vida, me siento descansado y tengo la energía para enfrentar lo que viene? ¿Qué tantos de ustedes tienen esa situación?
Okay, I'm going to add a few elements also here that, all sciences talk about what should you eat, but Ayurveda is a science that not only talks about what you eat, but it also talks about how you eat, when you eat.
Entonces, muchas como corrientes hablan de qué comer, pero Ayurveda no solamente es qué comer, sino cómo te lo comes.
Okay, you should only eat when you feel the hunger within yourself. It should never be a routine kind of thing, because many of the days, if you don't feel like eating at the same interval of time, I would advise you to take a bit of the gap, and you should also go for intermittent fasting procedures, and you should only eat when there's a urge of eating. You should only drink when you have the urge of drinking water.
Entonces, una de las cosas que dice Ayurveda es que solamente deberíamos comer cuando tenemos la necesidad de comer, cuando tenemos hambre. Y entonces no solamente comer como que porque es el horario, porque es el momento. Si el cuerpo está diciendo que en este momento no siento ganas de comer, en ese momento no deberíamos comer, y Ayurveda promueve ciertos tipos de ayuno intermitente para depurar el sistema.
And in Ayurveda, it has been told that we all have different prakritis. Louisa, you have a different prakriti. I have a different prakriti. Everyone has a prakriti, and one should adopt the dietary regimen as per their own constitution, because that is the key to health.
Entonces, cada uno de nosotros tiene un prakriti, que es como la constitución, como el biotipo. Entonces, deberíamos adoptar una alimentación que sea de acuerdo con nuestra constitución para tener, es una clave para la salud.
Okay, I can give you an example. If you're living in a family, have you ever observed that the whole family is eating has eaten one food item, but everyone reacts to it differently. Every one of them will say, "I have got distension eating after that." One will say, "I really liked it. I did not feel any problem," or some would say, "I have a bit of burning sensation after eating that." It happens.
Entonces, por ejemplo, en la familia todos comieron la misma cosa y cada uno tiene una respuesta diferente. Uno dice, uy, me dio distensión abdominal, el otro no, a mí no me dio nada. Y el otro va a decir, uy, me dio un poquito de acidez. Así, ¿no es así con la misma comida?
So each one of us is different and we have different needs, and we need to appreciate those needs.
Cada uno de nosotros es diferente, tenemos diferentes necesidades y tenemos que apreciar esas diferencias que tenemos.
And I would be thinking, actually, I'm very fond of questions. I like putting up questions because because I'm a teacher also, so it is a habit of mine. Whenever I take a lecture or something, I have to ask question and I need to make an analysis. So, so you'll have to bear with that.
A mí me encantan las preguntas porque soy profe, entonces me encanta lanzar preguntas. Es una manera muy, muy chévere para mí.
Okay, so next coming is the well-being practice number 6, that is the procedure of Langhan, or that is the procedure of fasting. And why have I taken up this in particularly? Because Navratri is the time when most of the Indians, they are doing the fasting. And why this fasting is important, I'm going to tell you.
Entonces, el Langana es un procedimiento en Ayurveda que quiere decir ayuno, y en Navaratri es muy importante hacer ayuno, y ya les voy a decir por qué.
Okay, so how many of you have read that that research article on autophagy, that the one who got the Nobel Prize, right?
¿Quiénes de ustedes se han leído el artículo que ganó un Nobel, que se llama Autofagia?
So fasting is another form of autophagy, because it has been said that there's an entity called in Ayurveda. So this is the metabolic waste that is being accumulated in your body.
Entonces, la autofagia es una manera, como el ayuno es una manera de inducir la autofagia en Ayurveda. Y, por ejemplo, cada uno de nosotros tiene ama, que son toxinas en el cuerpo que necesitan ser digeridas. Y el ayuno es una manera de removerlas.
And what is the most the rational way to deal with this metabolic waste is fasting.
Entonces, una de las maneras de como procesar esos desechos metabólicos, que es el ama, es el ayuno.
Because fasting is a kind of procedure in which the metabolism of the body, it is raised up. Okay, so it will automatically digest all the metabolic the accumulations in the body somewhere here and there. So you will have you will feel, and after fasting, it has been also observed in many of the studies that immunity also rises if you are doing intermittent fasting.
Entonces, lo que pasa en el ayuno es que la capacidad metabólica incrementa, y en ese momento de incremento de la capacidad metabólica, los desechos que están acumulados en el cuerpo se pueden procesar y eliminar. Entonces, el ayuno intermitente es una manera de depurar esas toxinas y esos desechos metabólicos.
But even fasting is a procedure that cannot be done like any time. There is a specific time, there is a specific age, there's a specific the regimen that you should also follow during fasting. Something, everything is very systematic. It should be followed, it should be preceded by some other procedures.
Entonces el ayuno no es algo que se pueda hacer en cualquier momento, en cualquier edad, en cualquier circunstancia. Hay unas características, en unas especificaciones para hacerlo.
As I can give you an example, if the patients of infertility, they come to us with a complaint of there is an anovulatory factor which is responsible for infertility. So along with the medicines and along with other procedures, Ayurvedic procedures that we Panchkarma procedures and other Uttar Basti like procedure, along with them, we also advise them fasting in the post-menstrual phase.
Entonces, por ejemplo, a las pacientes que tienen ciclos anovulatorios, además del tratamiento que les dan con medicinas y les hacen desintoxicación con Panchakarma y les hacen un procedimiento que se llama Uttar Basti en el útero, además de eso también se recomienda hacer ayunos para tratar.
Okay, so this is the fasting that we talked about, well-being practice number 6. Now comes the well-being practice number 7, that is Rasayan therapy or rejuvenation.
Entonces ya vimos la sexta práctica de bienestar, que es el ayuno, y la séptima es la terapia de Rasayana, que es la terapia de rejuvenecimiento.
Okay, aging is a natural phenomena. As we all know it, our body decays every minute that is passing. But at the same time, it is a natural urge that we want to be healthy and we want to live a quality life.
Entonces es un hecho que cada minuto nuestro cuerpo está envejeciendo, pero también cada uno de nosotros quiere sentirse vital y quiere expresar como la vida y rejuvenecer.
And for every decade of life, there have been mentioned different kind of drugs that drugs as in herbal formulations or practices that one could adopt that could serve for rejuvenation.
Y está escrito en Ayurveda, para cada etapa de la vida hay ciertas prácticas que se pueden hacer de rejuvenecimiento en cada década de la vida.
And it has been seen in many cases and many researchers also that the Rasayan has an antioxidant property.
Entonces se dice en varios estudios y todo que el Rasayana tiene una característica y es que tiene una propiedad antioxidante.
But as per the same principle, every Rasayan cannot be used in anybody. It is like different Rasayan for different age group, for different kind of, and even, there's a concept that what is your occupation, based on that Rasayan is also given.
Entonces, no se puede dar el Rasayana igual a todas las personas, o sea, como la terapia de rejuvenecimiento, hay específicos para cada persona. You say about the not for everybody, and what is the last of Rasayana?
The personalized, yeah. Not for everything cannot be given to everybody. Different approaches.
Es personalizado, no se le puede dar a todos, y hay diferentes maneras de administrarlo.
For example, if you are a chess player, I'll be prescribing a different Rasayan. But if you are a sportsman, we will have different Rasayan for you. If you are a woman who is, she's into a corporate sector and she has to, she has to work late nights, there will be different kind of Rasayan. But if you are a person who she has to travel a lot and she has to stand a lot during the job hours, so there is a different kind of Rasayana.
Entonces hay un Rasayana para una persona que es deportista, otra Rasayana para una mujer que es corporativa y que es como está trabajando en oficina, y hay otro Rasayana para una mujer que tiene que pararse por largas horas y también hacer turnos en la noche. Entonces hay diferentes terapias de rejuvenecimiento para ciertas actividades que tenga la persona.
Because there are different Rasayanas acting on different parts of body, acting on digestive system, acting on central nervous system and other systems.
Porque hay Rasayanas, rejuvenecedores, que actúan en el sistema nervioso, en el sistema digestivo, a nivel de la mente, en diferentes sistemas del cuerpo.
Okay. So coming on to the well-being practice number 8, yoga and meditation.
Entonces vamos a ir a la práctica de bienestar número 8, yoga y meditación.
And that is also, that comes as a precise approach, because for example, you polycystic ovarian disorders, that must be very common there also.
Entonces, por ejemplo, el síndrome de ovario poliquístico, que también debe ser muy común acá. ¿Sí?
So there is a asana which is known as Surya Namaskar. It is a procedure. It is an we prescribe that as a lifestyle practice in the patients of PCOD, and we have seen that with simple formulations, with simple changes in diet and lifestyle, the PCOD patients are able to conceive. Like they don't have an issue with that later.
Ejemplo, en las personas que tienen ovario poliquístico y que también tienen dificultades para concebir, les recomendamos hacer la serie del Surya Namaskara, que es el saludo al sol, y con ese simple procedimiento muchas veces las mujeres con ovario poliquístico son capaces de concebir.
So coming on to the last practice, the well-being practice number 9, and integration, synchronization with doshas within and outside. So as we see, there's a seasonal cycle also, that we discussed. There's a day cycle also, and our food, our activity, they should be integrated with that cycle.
Entonces debería haber una integración, una sincronización hacia adentro y en nuestros ciclos internos y en los ciclos externos. Entonces deberíamos como sintonizarnos.
Okay, Luisa, you can tell me how many seasons do you have there in your place?
Me está preguntando qué estaciones tenemos. We don't have like 4 seasons or 6 seasons like in India or like in European US. Yeah. For example, in my city, we have in one day many seasons. In one day it may rain and sometimes it is very sunny and then very windy. Some days, for example, December or January, it will be like very sunny and dry and little cold in the morning and in the night. But here is near to the mountains where I live, is more like changing, sometimes raining, sometimes windy, sunny. We don't have like strong seasons. Yeah.
Got it. So basically, I can say that that daily regimen practices will be more helpful than seasonal regimen things.
Entonces ella dice que para nosotros sería como el régimen diario sería más importante que el régimen estacional. Yeah, but for example, here the climate is very like Vayu, kind of.
Yeah. Jungle Pradesh kind of. Okay. So the food items that have more of like Snigdha character and Ushna character will be helpful for you. Yeah.
Entonces la comida que es más cálida y que es más como untuosa es más saludable, como en este clima de Bogotá.
Okay, so these are the 9 well-being practices that I had been talking about, and Ayurveda is a science which needs a lifetime to understand. It has been said you need more of a lifetime, when you want to understand this science and you want to practice it. It's like that.
Entonces aquí esta es la 9ª práctica y para entender Ayurveda se dice que se requiere más de una vida para entender cómo todo esto.
As a physician, it has been said that whenever we graduate with this degree of Ayurveda, it has been said that it is another life for you. You are a student now. You will always be a student forever. Like no matter where you go and what you achieve, but you will be still a student. Each and every time.
Se dice que cuando somos médicos y nos graduamos, no importa que ya nos hayamos graduado, siempre vamos a seguir estudiando. O sea lo que hayamos alcanzado, vamos a ser estudiantes.
And it has been also said that we should always be open to learning and when we get an opportunity to improve ourselves.
Y siempre tenemos que estar como dispuestos a aprender y a mejorarnos a nosotros mismos.
Okay, so I'd like to conclude this session with a very beautiful picture of this. And I would like to tell you what is this. On the 9th day of Durga Puja, women celebrate their femininity. It is the practice of celebrating their womanhood.
Entonces me gustaría terminar esta sesión mostrándoles esta imagen. En el 9º día del Navaratri terminamos con una celebración de la feminidad.
Yeah, and they apply sindoor. Sindoor is a red colored thing, and it denotes auspiciousness. So they will, I'll color you, you will color me, and we'll bless each other, that may, and we will greet each other that you are doing so good in your life, and I want you to achieve better in your life. So it is a practice like that.
Entonces ahí se están pintando con sindur, que sindur es ese color rojo, y entonces te coloreas a la otra persona y ella te colorea y te bendice, diciéndote que ojalá logres tener una vida mejor para ti, una vida próspera, una vida como que valga la pena.
Yeah. So, maybe if we get an opportunity, if you come here, or as it is, we can also, if I would request you to come India during the Navratri. We can also celebrate this. And but the kind of this kind of knowledge exchange kind of thing. It is basically a virtual application of this festival when you are celebrating the women's spirit. So it's like that.
Y entonces yo les invito a que vengan aquí a la India y celebren con nosotros Navaratri y puedan experimentar esto, pero de todas maneras en este momento, de manera virtual, estamos celebrándolo porque estamos compartiendo este conocimiento y podemos celebrarlo. Porque estamos honrando la feminidad.
And in the end, I would like you to, identify the inner Durga within you, which is going to help you to take that step that is going to take you to wonders of success and everything. And I wish you with all the success. And and at many points of time, we think that we have this point that we feel that we are weak. So at any point of time, if you feel that you're weak with something, or there is something that you think that you will not be able to do, then just realize that there is Durga within you, which is always going to give you the courage, the power to achieve everything and anything in life. Thank you.
Les propongo que reconozcan a Durga adentro de ustedes mismas, que reconozcamos a Durga y esa vitalidad. Y muchas veces en la vida hemos sentido que somos débiles en alguna cosa, entonces es el momento de reconocer a Durga, el valor, la valentía y el coraje, y reconocer que somos capaces de hacer lo que nos propongamos, y nos da muchas gracias. Oh, thank you, Dr. Charu. It's so beautiful and inspiring.
Thank you.
And a lot of knowledge, and I connect with the energy there in India, and I am feeling happy to feel this test of Navaratri through you. It's so beautiful. And Ayurveda.
Yeah, thank you, Risan. It was also a great, I really like talking to you, and you have those positive vibes within you, which I can also relate to. So it is a very good, thing when I can communicate with you, and it feels very nice. Thank you for being there, and I'm very it is my pleasure to communicate all these things to the world outside.
Oh, thank you so much. Ella dice que está como que también le inspira a reconocer como ese entusiasmo dentro mío y que le encanta a ella como compartir esta sabiduría. Okay, I will finish the...
Yeah, thank you. Good, namaste.